Hello everyone, Treecks here and welcome to the finale of Wario Land 2. Finale because as you can see there's only one more piece of the treasure map we need to get, and therefore saying we only have to do one more stage. Even though this video is going to be more than just that final stage, because of course completing this treasure map will make us do something with this treasure map, but more on that once we are done. Let's first finish off this final chapter in the Haunted Mansion, which is called Uncanny Mansion, and we need to capture the ghosts. I thought we were capturing Syrup. Apparently we're capturing a ghost. Where's Luigi with a vacuum cleaner if you need him? Okay, speaking of ghosts, of course, we are going to start off with trying to avoid ghosts in order not to be turned into zombie, because we want to get up here for some extra goodies. Okay, once you're going down it does not matter as much, because we're going down anyway. Let's get to the top right now, where we find the same deal, coins. That's all we can do in this first room. Pretty easy, standard first room. Nothing we can't handle by this point. Okay, what more do we have? Okay, you are going to die. But anyway, we have seen this in every single stage so far, so of course we're dealing with more blocks that we need to switch around. What a surprise! Okay, we need the stove in order to reach the switch over there. Speaks for itself. And we know what this will do. Although it will place the staircase diagonally, as you can see, so we can only access this area. No, you're not going to do that. For some reason I remembered that guy being there, so I knew he was coming. This other door is the boss door, so we're not going in there yet. Let's move to the left first. I have 100 coins now, so if I meet the treasure room I should be able to take care of that. I'm pretty sure it's in here actually, but not 100% sure. I was expecting there would be a ghost in there actually. Not too sure why I still fell for that. Okay, we need to reach that room in order to get the switch. But as you can see, we cannot really jump that high, so we need something in order to take care of that. Either pressing a switch or using this stove over here, which we can also use to get some coins up here. So let's bang you down. Bam! I'm pretty sure in real life if you toss down a stove from that high, it wouldn't be intact anymore the moment you come down. In video games, everything is possible. Okay, let's give ourselves access to the switch. Oh, there's also a zombie in here who refuses to die, so let's do it like this then. The light's not too far away, so him hitting me is not that big of a deal. Okay, with the switch now pressed, we actually have some extra blocks. We did see the bridge already the moment we tried to get that stove down. Only this time we can actually bang the stove to the top left of the room. And yes, we're also going to need it there. There's a treasure room we need to reach after all. These things having ghosts in them is getting predictable now. Final treasure room in the game, let's go. I have one shot at the normal mode, so let's make sure I do this correctly this time. Ah, thank you for being the easiest one. The game is nice to me at the very end of this. Oh, and extra nice because it's the very first panel. But okay, finally, we have seen this for the last time. Of course, it's a skull. What else did you expect by this point? The final treasure in this game. That we are done. So, only two more things to take care of. Beating the stage. And of course, getting that final part of the treasure map. That mysterious treasure map that we've been attempting to complete. Of course. I need to get back to the switch. Ow. I don't care about you guys. Okay, let's try to finish that story. That treasure map that we've been attempting to complete ever since the very first stage. We have not seen a single indication of what that thing is supposed to be. But we're finally going to find out after we're done with this stage. Because it's not a surprise that the moment we are done with completing that thing, it is finally going to be revealed what it is for. Everything else we have, with the exception of completing the stage, of course. But since we have the treasure, and also a way to get to the boss door again, now that the blocks are out of the way, that should not be a problem. Let's see what the final engagement against Syrup can bring to us. Are we even going to engage Syrup? Because the title of the level was, of course, Capture the Ghost, not Syrup. Are we going to do the same thing, like in the ruins, where Syrup also got captured by a bigger monster than herself? Okay, in this room you are tempted to use these guys in order to break the enemy blocks, but of course, as you can see, because of the fact that this is a multi-layer enemy block situation, it is much more wise to actually not do that and actually try to bounce up on one of these enemies while carrying another one. And then that way, making use of these platforms you see over here, we can actually try to create a way to actually get to these top platforms. Make some room. Okay, this should work. Okay, there's also some coins behind some extra blocks here. On both sides, obviously. Okay, in order to save some time, I don't really care about the other one. Let's check out this door. To be clear, this is actually the exit of the boss arena if you fail the boss arena, so remember where you end up. So you can enter this door and then this one down here to get back to the boss. Although I'm not getting back to the boss because I have not seen him a single time yet. First, let's check out this final room quickly. Pretty sure there's not too much to get here. Just some coins hidden after some enemy blocks. Once again on both sides, so you can do this both on the left and right. If you want your extra loot. Let's go do that quickly. Should not take too much extra time. And once we're done, it's time to find out what the end amount of our coin total is. Always a pretty funny thing to look out for when completing Wario Land 2. How many coins are you going to finish this game with? Let's go check that out by beating the boss. And yeah, as you may expect, indeed, Syrup gets captured by something that is more formidable than she is. Here in this chapter we're not facing Syrup herself, we're facing a ghost who captured her. But we are capturing the ghost. We don't need a poltergust for that. Be careful, because as you can see, he swoops in from the ceiling, trying to get us. And if he does, he will obviously drag us outside of the arena. And our job is to try to hit him from the side. Do that a couple of times and you should easily win. In his rage mode he becomes faster, so be careful. But eventually he should fall down. He beat Syrup pretty easily, but he did not beat the Wario. Okay. 7,600 coins after the stage. Let's see how many are left after the final treasure panel minigame. We have not seen the 4 a whole lot, I've noticed, so hopefully it's going to be a 4 for once. No, it's not a 4. But it is a 1. Wario is number 1! I think I made that joke before. But anyway, bad jokes aside, it is time to finally look at the complete picture. We can recognize Syrup's castle in the bottom left corner. We can use that as a reference point and find out there's a cave behind the lake. Obviously we're going to take a look at that. But first it's time for the final cutscene and end credits. Oh yeah, and of course there's this. Great! Perfect! Now let's go get the Syrup's treasure. Yeah, the developers of this game actually bothered to create an extra victory screen the moment you 100% clear this game. Even complete with Wario's little dance, you might say. Interesting. But we're not going for Syrup's treasure yet, because obviously that's what the treasure map points to. A secret location where Syrup hides her treasure. But first, final cutscene time. Once again, we're getting rid of these guys, like always. That's not something new. Like always, we also get our treasure back. However, this time, we're also not getting the treasure back ourselves. We fall in a trapdoor to find out this was all a dream. That's what I love so much about this this way to end the game. Unlike all of the other chapters, who actually really took place, you might say, this one officially never took place. This was all a dream, the story says. And to make things even more interesting, that's actually something you can see in this end credits, because this one is going to be a little bit different. Look who we have here. Normally we're used to seeing Wario go back home because he got his treasure back. Or in the chapter where Wario stayed asleep and he never left his castle, you see nothing at all. But this time around you actually see the pirates heading towards Wario's castle. And what's so interesting about this end credits is this one actually implies that Wario was just dreaming the adventure he just had. If you choose to actually end the adventure this way, Wario's adventure was one big dream. But then the end credits happen and you see the pirates heading towards Wario's castle. Therefore saying Wario basically didn't have a dream, he had a vision of what was going to happen. Because the pirates are still on their way to the castle now. As if he saw it coming. That's pretty interesting about these end credits. But anyway, because of the new shots, I will show this one off until the very end. I'll shut up until they are done. And see you once I get control again, to see our 100% clear screen. And see what we can do with our newly gotten, completed treasure map. See you in a few minutes when the credits are done. Okay, this shot should look familiar. If you remember the prologue of this game, how this game got started, the way this chapter ends is how the regular game gets started, you might say. What do you mean we're done with this game? We've completed every single stage. Looking at this cutscene, we're just getting started. Perhaps next time I should complete this chapter first, because this one basically implies the rest of the game, you might say. Because of that, I think when it comes to the alternative stories, this one is the most interesting one. Definitely the most inspiring one. But anyway, we're once again looking at an end screen, only this time we are also going to get treated to a 100% clear screen, because all stages are done, all treasures are gotten, and more importantly, the picture panel is finally complete. And therefore we can finally use that picture panel, the treasure map. Once every single piece has been put in, X will mark the spot. This beautiful set of completed treasures will stay that way, because the one thing we have to do is not going to give us an additional treasure. But this is something we will take a look at. Apparently there's something more to do in this world. One more additional stage. The flowchart, once the game is complete, will actually show off where all the bosses are, as you can see. That gets added. But that's not the only thing. Look down below, at the bottom right. If the game is not rude and scrolls back up again, it'll come down again. Look here, at the bottom right, we have an extra stage available to us now. Let's go take a look at that. Yeah, I know I perfected the game. You already told me last time. But okay, once we get control again, you can actually see this new stage is now available. After everything else is completed, don't think there's another way to actually get that extra stage to appear. Only if the complete treasure map is in your possession, you can actually challenge yourself with an extra stage. The ultimate test of Wario Land 2. It is in all honesty not the only thing that unlocks, because as you can see we also have a game here. And that is just the minigame on demand. If you select this, you can play the minigame from this game on demand. Nothing too special, we've seen that way too many times already. But we have not seen the final stage of this game. Let's grab ourselves a treasure map. And let's go look for the treasure, because Wario always wants more treasure. Apparently, the pirates have a hidden stash. Their ultimate treasure. And now we know where we can find it. We use Syrup's castle as point of reference and find out in the mountains. X marks the spot. Okay, we have arrived. Ooh. The skull indicates we're in the right place. This is a pirate's treasure hoard. But of course, it's going to be well protected. Of all the stages so far, this is going to be the most challenging one. The really final chapter. Time attack. Steal the Syrup's treasure. Since there's no coins to really be gotten here, since we've already broken free of that point in the game, this final stage is actually more of a time attack. It actually keeps track of how long we take to beat this stage, as you can see. Bottom right, a clock will start ticking. And the challenge is, how fast can you clear the stage? And fast is no matter what not going to happen, because like I promised, this is the most challenging stage in the entire game. Everything we have learned so far is going to get implemented in its most challenging form. This first room is not so bad, but trust me, once we are done with this first room, things will really get started. Syrup is not going to present us her treasure that easily. Okay, we have this aspect again. We have not seen this in a while. Don't mind the funny business we see in the background. There's a lot of weird stuff in this stage, you might say. Okay, jumping on these things we have done before, but not with a stupid spiky pirate enemy in the way. Definitely makes this really challenging. Okay, complicated jumps is also a thing. There we go. Okay, more of this. Jump. Okay, more complicated jumps. Here we need to do a dash jump in order to do this correctly. Okay, and room 2 is done. Room number 3. Which is also room number 1 again, but still. We can't reach the first part of the room, so... It does not matter. Let's go to the actual third room. Okay, I'm pretty sure we need you, if I remember correctly. Because we actually need to break some enemy blocks at the end of this room. And there's only one enemy in this room, this guy. So we need to do some complicated actions in order to get him to the top right of the room. So be prepared for a lot of narrow passages we need to get this guy through. Okay, in a situation like this, I think it's better to actually let him walk on his own. This guy also has legs, so let's make him use his legs. Okay, this one is a little bit easier because here we can just push him. Oh, let's make sure he does not get the chance to hit us. Let's push him around. Okay, once we get to the other side, it does not matter if he falls down too far because you can use the platforms to just get back up again, as you can see. That's not a problem. And now you can die, sir. You can break these blocks to get the shortcut back, but I wouldn't know why, because you're not going back normally. No reason to do so. Okay, now for the first real challenging part. Remember these kind of ridges, where only enemies can walk on, and Wario cannot. Yeah, you guessed it. Time for some bouncing action. Especially since Wario goes off-screen a little bit, it is definitely not hard to actually see where you're going to end up, so this is definitely really hard to do. And to make things worse, the moment you think you are there, you need to do it another time. And this can happen. The first one is really challenging because of the fact that Wario goes off-screen a little bit, but it's still doable. The second one is extra challenging because, as you can see, the ceiling is pretty low here, so you're going to bounce on that ceiling quite a lot, making it pretty difficult to actually see where you are. So it's best to actually not hold the jump button, so you jump a little bit lower. You have less control this way, but at least you don't lose your control. And that's how you take care of that room. Okay, we have these complicated jumps again. We used them already in the second room, but this time it's going to be a step beyond, because we need to do quite a lot of them, as you can see. The moment you miss one, just make sure you hold left all the time so you don't fall down too far. Okay, there we go. Oh! Make sure you crouch when jumping. There we go. Wasted a little bit of time there, but... Okay, in this room we actually want to jump on these bird enemies. Simple matter of timing. Just lure them in. And the moment they're on your level, jump on them to get to a higher level. There we go. Pretty easy. Speaks for itself. Okay, more dash jumping. Next room. Okay, conveyor belts. In the same weird aesthetic as this stage is. Oh, I see what we need to do here. As you can see, crouch walking does not work. This, in fact, makes use of one move that I have not even shown off yet, because it wasn't required yet. But allow me to show you off now, in this final episode. You know Wario can dash. But did you also know you can also crouch while dashing, and this can happen. You do a crouch slide. And that is the trick to get through here, actually. The first time ever in this game, this is a required move. Even up until the very final stage of this game, the hidden stage of this game, even then it manages to actually come up with required moves for the first time. Do make sure you crouch in time, because if you miss, as you can see, you will dash against the wall and get hit by a spike. Not that it matters a whole lot, because the coins you actually lose in this stage when you get hit is the coins from your total amount. But the fact that you've reached this stage basically says that you've cleared all the minigames already, so you don't actually need any coins anymore. So getting hit here pretty much means nothing. But it does drain time, so let's not do it too often. But okay, second to last room, flat Wario action. Last time we were in the factory, this actually became pretty difficult, trying to find out how to jump properly in order to reach the end. It's not going to be as bad this time around, this is pretty easy in all honesty. You simply jump in order to reach this ledge over here, jump on this one, and then jump over this one. Really easy. Nothing too spectacular. Okay, make sure you open up the shortcut, because we have the boss over here. And it's the hardest boss of this game, because as you can see, he is actually walking on an enemy-only ledge. Yeah. So I hope you've been practicing trying to bounce on these guys while ground pounding, because this time it's going to be required to do the boss all the way that way. Okay, if you fail the boss, you actually end up here. I misremembered, I thought you ended up to the left of those other blocks, but apparently you don't. Yeah, this might take a couple of tries. It's not a surprise that this guy is pretty hard to defeat. The trick is actually to try to stun lock him in one of the two corners. Bounce on him in such a way that he actually bounces to the lower ledge. And then try to get him stuck between the wall and yourself. And that way, success shouldn't be too far away. Wario Land 2 is completed. There's no treasure in this stage. And there's no more panel minigame either. We just finish off with the final cutscene of this game. After clearing this cave, we find out what is in Captain Syrup's treasure hoard. Let's move in. Another switch. Ooh, big bag. Wario is a rich boy. Not just preventing the pirates from stealing our treasure, but even turning it around and we stealing their treasure. For the second time, Captain Syrup and her Black Sugar gang have been stolen from by the Wario. And we get treated to the final end credits of this game, which I of course also will show off, because it's a new cutscene, you might say. Wario carrying around this big bag. Nothing too new, he's just carrying one big bag instead of the 3 bags we've seen in the other credits, but still. Because of it being new, I will show it off in full. And it is also immediately something I can use to close off this project, because the silent credits we've already seen a couple of episodes ago. But now I can finally say Wario Land 2 is completed. 100% cleared, and even the extra stage is now completed. It's a pretty heavy burden for this owl. He actually loses altitude, I'm pretty sure, Wario. But okay, this was Wario Land 2. Officially a game that released on both the regular Game Boy and the Game Boy Color. I own the one on the Game Boy Color, so I played that one for the Let's Play as well. But that said, it is not the only Wario Land game on the Game Boy Color, because Wario Land 3 also released on the Game Boy Color. And that is going to be the next Wario project. It's not going to be too far in the future. It's the whole reason why I played this one right now, because I don't want them to be too close together. But Wario Land 3 is also coming up. That is another game that takes things a little bit differently. If you compare this game to Wario Land 1, it is of course a little bit different. Wario Land 3 also adds a couple of different things. That one actually becomes more of a Metroidvania game, with you returning to previous stages with newer weapons. Really plays out like a Metroid. One of the least known Wario Land games, in all honesty, but for some reason I never really understood why, because I do really like that game. Also a pretty funny story in that game, so definitely looking forward to playing Wario Land 3. But now, Wario Land 2 is completed. Nothing more for me to show off. Even if this cutscene is over, nothing new will unlock. This is everything we have. Okay, my video is actually approaching 29 minutes already. It's going to be a long one for my doing, but yeah, I don't want to cut this episode up either. Oh yeah, this is also a really funny aspect about the end credits. We actually get chased by the giant spearman. Hey, what are you doing, stealing our treasure? I'm not done with you yet. Get back here. Didn't we defeat you enough times already? Definitely the boss we've been facing the most by far in this game. The giant spearman. He deserves a spot in the end credits, you might say. But okay, Wario Land 2 is finished. Next week a new project will begin. I have to admit I'm not sure which one that is going to be. I have 3 candidates right now, but I'm not too sure which one I want to do first. But I can safely say it is going to be a Nintendo 64 title, because all 3 of them are Nintendo 64 titles. So next week we are returning to the Nintendo 64 when it comes to my week projects. I still have Pokemon Stadium in my weekend right now, which will continue for a while because that is not a short game to cover. But anyway, we're returning to the Nintendo 64 for now. The Game Boy Color will have to wait. Wario Land 3 is coming up in the future. First, Wario needs to fight off this giant spearman in his castle. Would love to see his face the moment he discovers that guy was chasing him. But anyway, we are not going to get bothered by it because this is where the game will end. The end screen will change for one last time. The stage clear is still 100%. That was already the case. The treasure is still 100%. The picture panel is still 100%, but we get one extra additional thing. Now saying final stage and what your time was. And that is all. Thank you all for watching Wario Land 2. And I will see you next time. Treecks out.